Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, fáilte rót agus fáilte roimh to my channel. Yeah, a little bit of Irish today because, I mean, there's three good reasons. One, it's coming close to St. Patrick's Day. Two, it's Seachtain na Gaeilge here in Ireland, which means Week of Irish. And three, I am using the new Nomad Cosmetics Ireland Wild Atlantic Way. So it would kind of feel a little bit weird to not use at least a teeny tiny bit of Irish. I have to say a massive thank you to Nomad Cosmetics, who very kindly gifted this to me. It wasn't PR, they just kind of felt a bit sorry for me. So they were like, here, you weird person, have this. The palette looks like this. I did do like a little reveal unboxing video where I kind of talked about each of the shades and what they kind of mean. So if you want to go and check that out, I'll have that linked below. But today is just a very simple sort of a tutorial of this particular look. Look, I felt the need to do it. I needed to put some gems on. I needed to make it a little bit weird looking. Why not? And I mean, we'll count this as essentially a St. Patrick's Day look, shall we? Not that I think that you need this palette to do that. Use what you have. But my gorgeous friends, if you want to see a tutorial and an overall rate it or slate it, then my gorgeous friends, that is the rest of the video. Do please keep on watching. I haven't done makeup in such a long time, so I feel that's worth prefacing this because I feel like I'm totally out of practice. But we're giving this a go anyways. I have this P. Louise brush. It's the E24, so for your eyes, number 24. And I'm going into the shade Danny Boy. It's quite a nice taupey shade. And honestly, the more that I go into this shade, the sadder it makes me because I'm losing the imprint on it. And I think the imprint is lovely. I may have to buy a palette just to kind of keep the imprint. I know that's so stupid. I mean, my goodness. I am literally just stamping this on. In case you're wondering about the mirror, it's the one that I got as part of the tatty list. How cool is that? So I'm just stamping that on with reckless abandon. Now that I've stamped that on, I'm just taking this Lowest Cosmetics kind of blendy brush and I'm going back into Danny Boy, but this time I'm just doing some blending. Let's blend that out. I quite like that they had a very light shade here that's a little bit more neutral. It's almost like sandy. I like it. And I mean, I already did a video like explaining all the shade names and stuff and how it's actually extremely consistent with Ireland. I'm so impressed with all of the work that they put into this. Like, it's bananas. Like, it's really clear that they know what they were talking about. And that brings me a lot of joy. Now I have an Artitude Cosmetics brush and I'm going into the shade Wild Atlantic Way. It's such a nice kind of fair sagey shade. I love that they didn't go for like 50 shades of green in this, even though I love green. But I think it would have just been a little bit too obvious. I'm again just packing that on. I tapped off some of the excess onto like a little resin palette because I didn't want to go on too heavy. I wanted to use as many of the shades in this as possible. I love that they went for such an interesting colour story. Like, it all coheres, but it's not lazy. Do you know what I mean? Again, they could have done a fully green palette and everyone would have been like, yeah, that's Ireland. And I'm like, bit more to it than that. Like, no more than they didn't focus on Dublin. I've nothing against Dublin. Dublin's fantastic. But whenever people talk about Ireland, they tend to just talk about Dublin because that's where they've been. And I'm like, Ireland does more than that, in the same way that England is more than London and Berlin or Germany is more than Berlin, you know? Like, there's a lot more to it than that. I'm taking this Cosmic Brushes brush, it's the CB4, and I'm going back into that shade Wild Atlantic Way. And again, just blending in nice little circles. I'm trying to use some tips that my friend Daniela gave me of like how to hold it. That's right, you'll learn nothing here. And I do definitely feel like I'm so out of practice because I just haven't had the chance to play with makeup and my head hasn't kind of been in it. But what a palette to kind of come back to. Like, I kind of had to with this. It would have been weird if I didn't try and play with it, you know? It's so pretty. Although I am kind of like, what did I use again? How did I do it? Will I get both eyes to match? I mean, probably not, but we'll give it as best to go. as we possibly can. Another P. Louise brush, it's the E21, and this time I'm going into Blarney Stone, and I'm popping it just here, just smacking it in. Has anyone actually been to the Blarney Stone? Have they done that? I remember thinking it's like, I don't know, maybe it's just me being really weird, but I'm like, oh, kissing a stone where other people have kissed a stone. Is that not like hugely unhygienic? Maybe it's just the remnants of like COVID, but I'm like, maybe let's not go around and kiss stones. Who even started that? You kind of went, yeah. Like that seems like the most Irish thing ever, to just take the mick out of somebody and be like, yeah, totally. If you make out with a stone, it's going to do this. That does feel like something that is quintessentially Irish, is to just try and trick somebody into doing something very foolish. And now I have a P. Louise number 235, again going back into Blarney Stone, but just doing my blendies, and I'm trying to remember to take it at the tip of the brush. The tip of the brush. Yeah. I totally have lost the knack for this. Oh my god. Who even knows what this is going to look like? I know I'm going to end up gluing stuff to my eyelids. I have to. I feel the compulsion. It's there. What a terrible compulsion. Could be worse. Could be worse. I could have a much worse compulsion. But I'm sure I need to really get my shit together, you know? Oh well, whatever. I'm just going back in with this Nomad Cosmetics brush, and I just want to blend and smash everything together. I know. I don't know what I'm doing. Do you know what you're doing? I think they have like a warehouse here in Ireland now. Nomad Cosmetics, I mean, which is extremely exciting to me. I mean, I have most of their back catalogue. There's only a few things that I'm missing, but it's a dangerous piece of knowledge to know that. I'm like, what are you doing? How dare you? I'll find where it is. I'll find where your warehouse is. That sounds really ominous. That sounds like I'm trying to steal from them. I'm not. I don't have like the executive function to manage to pull any sort of a heist. I'd love to think that I could, but I know I wouldn't. I'm now taking this dew colour brush and I'm going into the shade Toncha, which is of course wealth. And I love that they've put like sláinte and toncha right next to each other, because that comes back to like an old Irish phrase of as far sláinte no na toncha, which is it's better to have health than wealth. Yeah, that's right. We said that. I mean, I'm sure other cultures said something similar. We don't have the monopoly on that. But we're like, yeah, better to have health than a whole bunch of cows. I think I've forgotten how to talk to the camera. I've definitely forgotten how to talk to the camera. Hi. What, does I have some sort of a weird breakdown trying to explain things? My goodness. Very strange. Now I have this super adorable little Natasha Denona brush. It came with something, I don't know what, and I'm just going to do a little back and forth like this, just to blend it out. Also, my eyes are so hooded. It's not even funny. Anyone else struggle with the hoodedness? The hooded eyes? It's not a struggle, like, my god, you know, nobody's going to start a march or a protest and be like, ah, justice for hooded eyes, but it's annoying, you know, because my vision and then what can actually occur with the ideas in my head don't actually occur, but also down to my lack of talent. But I'll blame the hooded eyes. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm now taking this Jessup brush and I want to start to stamp on Keem Strand. There's also like a Keem Beach in Achill that hardly anyone seems to know much about, and it is spectacular. If you're ever in the west of Ireland, around Mayo, I highly suggest that you check it out. It's quite cool. I love that a few people didn't actually know that I play the harp. I'm like, no, I do. I mean, not very well, my god. You know, there's way better than me. But yeah, basically, I became like a little bit obsessed years ago. In my hometown called Ballina, every July there's this thing called the Salmon Festival, where we celebrate the fact that, you know, it's a town that's a fishing town essentially because it's quite close to the Atlantic, and yeah, we have a fish festival, but for whatever reason it results in lots of music and people celebrating, etc. And there was a busker on the street who was playing the harp, and of course I was fixated on it, and she made the fatal mistake of asking me, did I want to try it? And I sat down and started plucking on a few strings, and I am a very annoying child, and I just kept on to my parents and was like, I want to play the harp, I want to play the harp. And because my parents support my dreams, they got me a harp. Well, they didn't get me a harp straight away. They like set me up for like lessons and then eventually got me a harp. I'm quite spoiled. I realise that. Now I'm taking as a waver brush, I think it's the 225, and I'm going back into Kima Strand, and I'm just going to pack it on first. Just really pack in that punch, and then swishy, swishy, swirly, swirly. I know. Try not to be too intimidated by the level of expertise that I bring to this. I know that reviews don't tend to do very well, or tutorials don't tend to do very well on YouTube. People don't seem to want to do them or see them, but I'm like, oh, I don't know, I kind of love a tutorial. I love seeing how somebody like approaches a palette and what they think of it. You know, it gives me inspiration. I like it. So I'll do what I want. I'm taking this dew colour again, and this time I'm going into this shade that looks exactly like the Claddagh ring. It's called Diagit, which is again Irish for hello. And our refrain is Dias Moradich, which is God and Mary be with you. And I like to think that if you have to keep going backwards and forwards, you're just adding up like everyone from religion, just kind of going Dias Moradich. Dias Mora is Josephich, and then it just keeps going. That's not actually how it goes, but I think we should start that rumour now about my country, and that's how we approach our language. Oh, I don't know, I'm in such a weird mood. I will also say I'm coming down off of a flu, so I feel very inhuman at the moment. I'm not quite with it. So I'm just putting that in the inner corner, and I want to put a teeny tiny bit there. Nothing major though, because I'm actually going to use something else there. I will show you now. So I'm just going to take this, I think it's the Nomad Cosmetics, and just buff that, make it a little bit more, oh thanks. The light just went off the mirror. It's like, no, spending too long at this, Teresa, we judge you. Which honestly, fair. So it's kind of taking that down. This is a little bit more relaxed, which is what I wanted. Let me show you the shimmer that I have here. This is from Half Magic Beauty. I think it's called Goblin. I don't know. Anyways, it's the green one. And it is fabulous. All I'm going to do is just pop it along here. That easy. And then just tap. There we go. Okay, I'm going to cut out the crease. I am going to use like a glitter glue to try and get the shimmers to come up in the best way possible. And I'm using a Lit Cosmetics one, just FYI. But I'll be back with you once this is done. Okie dokie friends, so the glitter primer is down, or the glitter adhesive is down. So let's get on to the next part of it. I have this little fabulous tool from Artitude Cosmetics. I've talked about it before. I love it. And I'm going into the shade Slán, which again is Irish for goodbye, farewell. Avida saying good night. Sorry, I can't, I'm in a weird mood. It has this beautiful kind of greenish tinge to it. See what I mean? This is fantastic for applying any of these shimmers. And I like that there's sort of like a little bit of an edge here that helps me make sure that I'm still getting the shape that I need. Don't worry, I'm going to clean all of this up. Future Teresa is very good at sorting these things out. There we go. And I have another tool from NYX, and this time I'm going into Cove Harbour. And I'm kind of putting that on the outer section here. It has some really nice sparkles in it, and I wanted it to kind of mesh with, was it the Keen Strand was the dark blue? Yeah, close enough. But now I'm taking the shade Diagit, which is on my finger, and I'm just going to shove it between the two of these so that there's more of like a gradual transition. I know, it's very complicated. I feel so bad because I've like been gifted this lovely palette, and then I'm just not at the level to do anything very, very good with it. But sure, look, whatever. It's grand. We're all on a makeup journey. It's not a big deal. I can enjoy things without being amazing at them, and that's okay. So probably the big thing you'll see here is I don't have enough depth, so I'm taking my Zoeva 225 and going back into Keem Strand, but also Cove Harbour, because I want to get that in, and smash it just here, and swish. And I'm going to clean up, obviously, the rest of the eye because it's a bit all over the place. Thank goodness for makeup wipes. What would we do without them? Our lives would be so difficult. Yeah, I mean, that is essentially it. I have this fabulous Attitude Cosmetics liner. It's called Imagination. It's like a multi-chrome, and I'm going to use that. But I also have this Melt Cosmetics gel liner in the shade Fortuna, or Fortuna. It's not Fortuna, the fish. I'm in a really weird mood. I'm going to clean up the rest of this and I'll come back and show you what it looks like together and give you my overall first impressions of the palette. And I have returned. I did put on some really cool lashes. They're from Cash Beauty. I felt the need to use an Irish brand. This is Stardust and they're so cool. They have like these little golden wisps on them. These are like the bits that I cut off because obviously I have very small eyes, so I couldn't use the whole lot. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I use that you might be interested in. Yes, the gloss that I'm wearing is Half Magic Beauty. It's one of the latest ones. This is called Problem Child. I paired it with W7 Buff and with Makeup Forever's Endless Cacao, in case you are interested. But this is the look. I glued so many things to my eyes, just really in an experiment to see how well my skin can actually hold it up. I mean, so far so good. I'm going to zoom you in now so you can see what it looks like under all of these bright lights. We are very close to each other right now. I love the jewels on the inside of the eye. They're like these cool hearts, and yeah, I just decided I'd use like these gold and green sort of gems as well. Can I just say everything like blended so easily. I wanted to go with something fairly simple that still managed to use a lot of the shades, but I feel like it came out pretty well considering I am so out of practice. Now, of course, you know the general drill. If you have a load of lights on, which I do, I have a ring light, 2 box lights, and a main light up, up in the ceiling. So it's going to dull down quite a bit of this sparkle. I will insert a clip now showing it what it looks like without all of these lights. So as you guys know, the best way to look at these things is in the dark with just one focus of light so you can see some of the shimmers a little bit better. So I'm going to zoom you in now so you can see them. I mean, my goodness, it's quite pretty. And I mean, you can really see the glitter, I think, from that Half Magic. I think it's quite nice. And then of course, when I take the glasses off, you get a little bit more clarity. Do you like all the jewels that I shoved onto my face? I mean, how many? It's too many. Trick question. There's no such thing. We're also not going to talk about my fringe, which I did hastily cut today, and I do look like I'm my own third cousin as a result. Who knew? Anyways, let's talk about this palette. I've already talked about like the actual look of it, the layout, etc. before, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Nobody wants to hear that. How did I think they functioned? Actually really well. What I think is really interesting about this formula is there's pigment there, but it's not immediately pigmenting, right? Now, this is going to be great for you if you're the sort of person who likes to build and disperse, build and disperse, build and disperse. You have a lot of leeway with this sort of a palette. If, however, you like wabam pigment straight away, this may not be for you. I think this is much more user-friendly in that sense. And let's be real, a lot of these colors people might be a little bit nervous of. You know, the greens, etc. But because they kind of go on so gently, but you can build it up, you can disperse it, I think this is really great. It reminds me a little bit of the Anastasia Beverly Hills formula, you know, that it, like, you can build, you can disperse, etc. Really stunning. Some favorite shades in here are obviously Jagged. I'm so sad that I've destroyed the Claddagh. Like, I can feel it in my bones. I actually think I'm so disgusting. I think I may end up getting another one of these just to keep it in perfect working condition. That is ridiculous. Like, that's so stupid. The most unnecessary thing of the entire world. What do I think of the palette? I really genuinely enjoy this. Now, I want you to remember and temper this with the fact that this was sent as a gift. The whole theme is Ireland. I am quite patriotic, so I probably can't be as objective as I would be for other things. However, the formula is something I like. I have most of Nomad Cosmetics. I'm like staring at them right now. They're eyeballing me. I have most of their palettes. I won't say all of them, but I have most of them, and I have followed the brand for quite some time. So I was going to get this one way or the other. This holds true with a lot of their previous formulas. I feel like they've been kind of gradually changing their formula to be a little bit higher quality. Maybe that's just me, but I think it's really meshing with the way that I'm doing my makeup these days, which is trying to build and disperse. Because my friend Danielle is an MUA and she's been teaching me these things, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I figure out that certain shadows are more amenable to that way of interacting. So for me, absolutely, I love this. Very, very happy to recommend. For me, this is a 10 out of 10. Now, what I want to say to you is, if you're on the fence and you haven't already bought this, have a little think about it, you know? Don't buy things unnecessarily. Don't be like Teresa. Don't be a silly, silly goose. Keep a good eye out for other reviews. Don't base your purchasing decisions on one review alone. Don't base it just on mine, because Lord knows what it is that I'm talking about. I'm not an MUA. I am simply a makeup enthusiast. From my perspective, I think it's great, but everyone obviously feels very, very differently about these things. It's very subjective. If, however, you like, say, the ABH formula, you might like this, because it reminds me quite a bit of this. Like I said, I actually want to get another one because I know I'm going to use this one and I want to keep the other one to have the imprints. Trust me, I know I'm stupid, I'm being ridiculous, but I've kind of like accepted that part of my personality. Anyways, my gorgeous friends, I know that a few of you picked it up. Have you tried yours yet? Are you excited? What do you guys think? I'm so, so happy. And of course, I have to say, Lá Éile Pádraic to all of you, which means happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching. Do please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell and do please share. Because sharing is caring, except, of course, for STDs, in which case, just wrap it up. Don't be gross. But that's it. That's the end of the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.